Okay, and we are live. As you've probably noticed, Facebook is down. Facebook is not working, so this is just on YouTube. And today we have a special guest, Teacher Zowee. And she is here, but I'm not 100% sure how to get her to join, so we will see in just one moment.
Hi.
Okay. First, can people hear me? Okay. And Zoe, can you speak? I want to make sure I can hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. I don't know why. I've got mute, unmute. Can you hear me now?
Okay, so in the comments, can other people hear Zoe? Because I cannot hear Zoe. Maybe it's my problem. So in the comments, please let us know if you can hear Zoe.
Hello,
And
hello.
don't just say yes or I can hear you, because that sounds like you are saying that you can hear me. Please say I can hear Zoe.
I think they can hear me, but you can't. So it's going to be a weird chat.
Okay, so you all can hear Zoe, but I cannot hear Zoe.
Hmm.
Problem with my computer?
Yeah, strange.
Give me one moment, everyone.
Yeah, well, I can talk to them. Hi, everyone.
Why would
I'm
my
Teacher
audio not
Zowee.
be working? Zoe, do you want to take a moment to just introduce
Yeah,
yourself, and I'll try to figure out what's going on. I might even pop out and then come back.
no problem. I will take the reins. Hi, everyone. I am Teacher Zowee from the UK. I teach online mainly on a site called italki, and me and Teacher Mike know each other from Thailand, where we used to work together. So we've known each other for, oh, that's when I need his help.
Give me one moment.
Maybe 10 years, something like that. So a long time, but I only ever see him if we do Facebook Lives because we're both very busy. Yes, Facebook is down, which is just crazy. So I just got an email from Teacher Mike, and he's like, Facebook's down. I was like, Facebook's never down. No, no, no. But it is. It's quite exciting, I think. It's a bit like a power cut. I like it when there's a power cut. So there's no electric in the house and you have to get a candle. Yeah, good. I'm glad you can hear me. Hi, everyone. Nice to see everyone. Nice to meet you, May. Yeah. Ahmed says, Mike, you can check the source of. Yeah. Oh, Instagram's down too. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. Do you want to take over, Teacher Mike, or are you happy doing that? Maybe I can message Teacher Mike.
Got it.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry about that, everybody, and sorry, Zoe, for putting you on the spot and making you take over.
There's nothing I enjoy more, Teacher Mike.
Oh, thank you. It's always wonderful to see you. What were you? Let me know. What were you just telling everyone?
Well, I managed to get onto the subject of power cuts because Facebook's down. So I was just saying I find it quite exciting when things like that happen in the modern world. So just chatting to myself, really, and saying hi to everyone. Yeah, and how we met as well. I've said how we've known each other for about 10 years, but I can't remember. Yeah, that's it.
Did you notice that Facebook was down before I emailed you?
No, no.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that my account got hacked or something, so I was really worried, and I kept trying to log back in using different devices and different passwords, and
Yeah, I'm sure lots of people did. I was just like, surely not. But yeah, amazing. And
Yeah.
apparently Insta's down too.
Yeah, everything by Meta is down right now. Well, is WhatsApp owned by Meta? Because WhatsApp is not down, but Instagram is down, Threads is down, and Facebook is down.
Don't know. Should we start?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
All right, let me very quickly just take a look at the comments, see who's here. This is interesting because it's just YouTube people, whereas
Hmm.
usually the comments are all Facebook people. So I see Ria, hello, Evelyn, hello, Ahmed, hello, hello, Elvira Smith, hello, Irina, hello, thank you for joining. Kevin Hawthorne from Lakeland, Florida, hello, Kevin. Moo Day, hello. I like this because when it's YouTube, I recognize all of these names, or I recognize about 90% of them. Whereas on
Mm.
Facebook, there's a lot of people who I don't know so much. Anyways, happy to have all of you here. Thank you very much for joining us today. For anyone who is just joining right now, this is Teacher Zowee from the UK. If you don't know who I am, you probably do. I'm Teacher Mike from the US. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some words, specifically words that are different in the US and the UK.
Or different pronunciation as well, maybe.
Yeah, so words that might be completely different, or words that might be the same but pronounced slightly differently. Zowee, you've told me this a million times, but I never remember. Where in the UK are you from?
Oh, well, I'm not in the UK now. I was about to say I'm never in the UK, really, am I? I move around, but I'll just lie and say I'm from Brighton because it's somewhere people know. But I'm kind of from the south, but I have moved around even in the UK, so I have a central accent. I'm not from London, but sometimes I live there. So about an hour away from London on the coast, so by the sea. So Brighton.
Okay. I'm
Mm.
familiar with the name. I don't know anything about it, but I am familiar with the name.
Yeah, I've probably spent more time away from the UK than in the UK now. So yeah, so I'm currently in Gran Canaria, which is a Spanish-owned island, but it's near North Africa.
I think that one of my YouTube members is actually from there. I
Ooh,
don't see her in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that is where she's from.
oh, I wonder if I know her.
And I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
It's also a bit rude, isn't it, data-wise? But
Also,
yeah.
Sam Canny, you are one of my YouTube members. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you for being a member. Mei Chung says Brighton, a nice place. Okay, so someone knows it. Speaking of the UK, Zowee, have you seen or have you Netflix miniseries One Day?
No, I've seen on Facebook that someone's watching it and really enjoying it, but no.
Finished it last night. Not going to do any spoilers, but most depressing thing I have ever
Right,
watched.
no, not
Entire
for me then. Mm.
But very British, UK, whatever.
Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, that's a good one to recommend to my students then as well,
Yeah,
because they all love Downton Abbey and ridiculous things with very strange dialects, which is fine. But I don't like many things. I'm really fussy. So it's good to know things I can recommend even if I haven't seen them.
yeah. I don't know whether or not you would. It doesn't seem like something that you would enjoy, but my wife wanted to watch it, and she didn't know how depressing it was going to be.
Yeah, I think depressing in this world is not something, most people need right now. But yeah, but
Yeah.
I've heard it's good though.
And Okay, I see one person has sent a request. So
Ooh.
we have a list of words that people requested in advance,
Mm.
but someone has requested one live right now.
Oh my
So this
God.
is American English versus British English pronunciation, the word Mandatory. Zoe, how do you pronounce this word?
Mandatory.
Okay, so I would say mandatory.
Oh, nice, nice.
So it sounds like you take the TOR and you make more of a schwa sound, mandatory.
We don't even have a schwa really. The way I teach any words with ARY, ORY is like, so if it's a T, it would be the word tree.
So you take out that syllable. There's no tor,
I
no.
just take it out. I mean, it's tiny in there, but to be able to say it, so probably, mandatory, library. Yeah, we just don't bother. We're lazy.
Okay, and that's those are some other ones that we have in the list that I will bring up. We'll go to those in 1 minute. Um, okay, so interesting. I didn't know that you did that with mandatory because for me, I always say mandatory, mandatory. But those other ones that you mentioned, let's go to those because those ones. So could you please read these ones for me?
Okay, yeah, yeah. I know it's weird. I'm overthinking as well, and you think, how do I say that? Yeah, so I would say library, probably, or probably if you have trouble saying that, and secondary.
Okay, whereas I would say library, probably secondary.
Ooh.
However, probably that's the one where I might do what you do, and I would say probably, probably. In fact, speaking naturally, I would often just say probably.
Oh my goodness.
I'd probably
Where
say
are you from? The
I'd
farmyard.
I'd probably say it like that, probably, probably.
Ah.
Um, so I'd probably say probably like probably, but library, no, I wouldn't say library. And secondary, no, I would not say secondary.
Secondary.
But you would say secondary?
Mm.
Interesting. Yeah, so what we're seeing here is that for Zoe from the UK, she would take out one of the syllables. So she wouldn't say rary, she would say re. She wouldn't say bubbly, just blee. Secondary would become secondary. Whereas for me, I would pronounce most of the syllables, which I find interesting because often people accuse Americans of the people being lazy or pronouncing words wrong.
Mm.
Whereas right now, Zoe's being lazy, pronouncing words wrong. Just kidding, obviously. Zoe,
No, I know. I love it.
I know
Yeah,
you know, but
great.
other people might not know because people don't always understand our sense of humor. And they might say, why are you being mean to Zoe?
Oh, I see. Be as mean as you like. It's all fine. We're all friends here.
We are. This is a very nice community. Let's go back to the comments for 1 minute because it's just YouTube. It is very easy for me to read the comments. Um, although I'm too far up in the comments, all I see is hello, yes, I can hear, I can hear. Um,
I can see them. Everyone's just saying they love you.
thank you, everyone.
And then yeah, after the mandatory. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
one off-topic comment for a moment. Ava says Gran Canaria is a beautiful island. I've been there several times. Ava is from Poland, and she actually arrived in Thailand today.
Yeah.
First time in Thailand. Ava, I hope you're having a good time. I don't mean to put too much of your information on the internet, but I think people know that you are in Thailand. Um, yeah, okay, so no, I'm not seeing any other requests for words, so let's just go back to the list. Um, one word that someone asked for was subscription.
Mm.
How would you say this?
The same. Subscription.
Yeah, we say it the same. Subscription. Um, Would you pronounce the first vowel sound more like a U or a schwa sound? Would you say subscription
I'd
or
say schwa, yeah. Yeah. That's the wrong noise.
subscription?
Subscription. So we just don't move our mouth much, mainly because we need to get from the s, which is here, to the b. So they're very close. So if I subscription, I'm going to get tired quite quickly. So subscription. We keep it all at the front of the mouth, and the sounds are quite small.
Good. So for that was a very good explanation. But for anyone who doesn't know, the schwa sound is just a short, lazy, unstressed sound. It's a sound that happens naturally when you don't focus on making a vowel sound. So instead of saying subscription, it's just subscription. The schwa sound occurs in many English words, and it can come when you have the letter A, the letter I, the letter E, any vowel sound, any vowel, basically, you will sometimes hear the schwa sound instead of a clear vowel sound. Oh, it looks like Facebook is working. We have one like from Facebook. Or
Woo!
no, maybe that's a like on YouTube, but it looks like it's Facebook because it's blue.
I might join the chat, but I don't think I'm logged in as Teacher Zowee, so actually I won't. But I was just going to paste the schwa symbol, which is it's a bit like a kind of upside down E. So if you're ever on Collins or Cambridge or whichever dictionary, like Macmillan,
I
there's
can
another
find
good
it right
one.
now.
Yeah. It's when you see it, it looks kind of like an E, but it's don't really know. Is it inverted maybe? No, it's upside down
Yeah, it's upside
basically. Yeah.
down.
And their example is banana. So the banana, or like father, mother in English. We don't say the R and then we just let the word end. We drop our jaw. So father, mother,
Okay, yeah.
brother.
So you have a schwa in father, but I say
Mm.
father.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm talking, yeah, the British schwa. I know I don't own it, but I like to think I do.
So you guys can see in the comments, I posted what looks like an upside down E. That
Mm.
is the symbol for the schwa sound. When you see that in a dictionary, you pronounce it uh, uh, uh.
And it looks like you've posted it on Facebook as well. So maybe Facebook is back in the world.
I don't.
Sure. Let me just click on Facebook and have a look.
Yeah,
Oh
let's see.
my goodness. Oh no. Oof.
Um,
I don't know. I need to log in. Let me try. Anyway, sorry, continue.
so that was subscription. Next word is
No, it's not working.
this. How would you say this word?
Oh, one of my favorite. Comfortable.
Comfortable. Okay. I would usually say comfortable.
Oh my goodness.
And a lot of people get really angry at me. They're like, "No, why would you say comfortable? It should be comfortable." But I think that's just difficult to say. Comfortable? That's difficult.
Comfortable.
Um, but it's definitely like nobody says come for table. Um, why did you come to this restaurant? Come for table. That is no bad joke.
So
But
I've got a disappearing syllable. The OR is cut. So I'm and then table. So then the or even is just like you keep chopping out all of the syllables. Yeah.
can you say it one more time, please?
Comfortable.
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 Okay, so I'm gonna
Oh
write it.
yeah, you just get rid of the OR in the middle. Sorry, I made up a new word, I think.
So
Comfortable.
So
That's
I
it.
think that you pronounce it kind of like this,
No ER,
no,
just a
yeah.
schwa, but yeah. I do KUM.
Sorry, when I hear your schwa, I immediately think ER just because that is how I would say it. Um,
Oh,
or that's how I hear when I hear you making the
you know
schwa
that's what
sound,
it is
I know that
visually.
that's my
Mm,
ER.
yeah.
So you say it like this, comfortable?
Comfortable. Yeah.
So there's no R for you. Or
No.
there's a British R, which is a schwa sound.
Comfortable. Well, no, no R. Goodbye R. We don't like R.
So
So
zo
Italians have a lot of trouble
do they have
because
very strong Rs?
yeah, very strong R's. In Italian, you pronounce every single syllable with more or less equal weight with some kind of intonation, but just like this. And so most of our R's go away before a consonant or at the end of a word. And the other thing is they roll their R's or trill their R's. So even if they kind of get it right, the R sound itself is often wrong. So that I think it's one of the biggest challenges for Italian speakers of English if they want to sound natural.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
not that familiar with Italian. I've had Italian students in real life, when in Thailand, but they
But
were
not as yeah, not on their own intensely maybe.
okay, so you would say comfortable. The way that I would say it is more like
Good surname, Elvira. Just saying.
Smith.
Although maybe that's a hint, but yeah, sorry.
So I would say it like this, comfortable,
That's
comfortable,
crazy.
comfortable, comfortable.
I, comfortable.
Um, it's basically the same as the way that you say it, but there's a little bit of an R.
Right.
Comfortable, comfortable. And I don't know if that's, standard in the US or not. I've noticed that the way that I say things is often very different from the way that other people say things, and then I lived abroad for 10 years, so I wasn't always
Mm.
to native speakers, so I don't
Let me think how I think an American says it. I know that doesn't really help, but are you comfortable with that? Comfortable? Yeah, there's some kind of weird R where it shouldn't really be. Yeah,
anyway, something like that.
yeah.
Something bull. Um,
Say it how you want, maybe.
people will understand it probably.
Yeah,
Um, we've got this one. How would you say this?
right. I know what I'm supposed to say as a British person, but
How
I
are you
actually
supposed to
say
say
it well, I'm supposed to say schedule,
really?
but I say schedule. And the reason is because I teach English and I don't know, some words people get really hung up on. And to me, if I'm talking about my schedule, look at my schedule, book a lesson, I want them to understand the word. And most people understand schedule, but don't understand schedule. I also think it's quite old fashioned to say schedule.
Yeah, the only person who I've ever met that I've heard say schedule is Tobias, who is also from the UK.
Oh, that I don't know why I made that face. Yeah, yeah, it is apparently a thing, but I often go, I don't know. Schedule. I actually just don't like it. I don't like the sound.
And I'm gonna write out kind of how we both pronounce it when saying it. Should I write the word Jew or no? Jew. No.
I do SKEDYUL, schedule.
You use a
Maybe.
Y. I add a little bit of a J.
Oh, schedule. Yeah, it's actually a
I would write it kind of like this. Schedule.
yeah, I wouldn't do the UOL. I just say schedule. But
Okay, so you make it more jewel, whereas I make it more jewel.
mm,
Schedule. Yeah,
yeah.
that is how I say it though, schedule.
I say schedule. So it's kind of there, but my lips don't quite get to W. Again, a bit lazy and a bit shorter of a sound.
So for Zoe, it's more like this. Oops. Schedule.
Schedule. Yeah.
Schedule.
Mm.
Is that how you would write it? I don't
Yeah,
wanna write it
schedule. I
short.
mean, you could put a Y because schedule to get to the Y, I feel like that's the noise that would come out. But in the IPA, which hopefully you all know, the International Phonetic Alphabet, um, there's a very special symbol of the J sound, and Spanish people have quite a bit of a problem with it. Because, for example, the word project, they say project. I've spent quite a lot of time shouting the word project at someone, more because it's funny. He's actually a friend, but he's like, project manager,
Mm,
project manager. So it's this
project
j
man.
sound. Yeah.
I actually, I have a student from Vietnam, one of my private student, and we were reading a really long article about drought in Mexico City, and there were all of these names that had J's in them, and I kept having to remind her when there's a J in Spanish, don't pronounce it like a J. So it's actually the opposite because Americans know this. I mean, British people know this too, probably.
Well, no, useless.
Like when you see,
Sorry, British
like
people,
when
if
you
you're
say,
here.
we all know that when you see the name Jose, it's not Joe's, it's Jose.
English people are quite bad because
Really?
we're not near Mexico. We don't have that many Spanish speakers within the UK, really. So I've just been in Mexico for 3 months, so I totally understand how a lot of Americans even know quite a lot of Spanish, and there's lots of Spanish in your language, but we would have more French in our language because we're next door. So it's geographical, a lot of it as well.
That's interesting.
But I don't know, with an advanced person, Guadalajara, but otherwise I just say it's the name of a place, say it how you like, because if that's not why they're reading it, but yeah.
I always forget that that is such a big difference between the US and the UK because, I mean, when I was in high school and I'd take the bus home from school, I would be the only person on the bus who didn't speak Spanish,
Yeah.
because everyone else was speaking Spanish. Um, all right, anyways, let's go to another word.
Oh, I don't like that word.
So I don't use this word,
No.
but the word is clerk. Clerk.
Or in English, sorry, British English, Clark.
Sounds like Clark.
Yeah.
Clark to me.
Yeah, that's how you say it in English. So that's why the person who asked that question was saying about Charles Dickens, which is British, but in 1910, or I should know when that was written, 18 something, someone would be called a sales clerk, but actually we just don't use the word really in British English. I don't know about, ask the clerk, but obviously it looks like clerk.
So how would you say this?
Well, if I had to say it, I'd say Clark, but the only reason I know that is because I looked it up on the internet.
So you'd say Clark is a
I
Clark?
don't think I've ever said it though. Yeah, Clark.
The whole sentence.
Oh, Clark is a Clark.
Oh no. So I would say Clark is a clerk. Clark is a clerk. Clark is a man's name. A clerk is basically someone who works somewhere, maybe at like a cash register or something, selling stuff in a store. The store clerk is like the cashier. But like Zoe said, we don't really use this word very often. But she says it more like clock, whereas I say clerk. All right, that's enough of that one.
I can't cope with that one. Yeah. Don't say it, kids.
Two words, which
Oh
can actually
no.
be
I have to
one
have
word.
a drink of it, to be honest with you.
Let me update it. How would you say this?
Oh, okay. I might say it a bit more correctly than I would say it. A little water bottle. A little water bottle.
How would you say it naturally?
Depends where I was in the world and who I was with.
A little water bottle.
Awful, horrible Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. But yes, that kind of a little water bottle is how some people would say it. I would never say it that loosely, but a little water bottle, like, no, that's not happening. A little water bottle, probably like that. So the T's almost hidden somewhere in the back of my mouth, but it is there.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. So it's lazier, but not Dick Van Dyke.
Also, it looks like Facebook is here now. Congratulations.
Ah, hello, Facebook. Wow.
Oh, and Elvira Smith commented, Superman is a Clark. So Superman is Clark. Clark
Yes.
name. Okay, so Zoe would say it more like a little water bottle.
More like
Not,
that,
not
yes.
really like
Something
that.
like that.
That's my imitation.
That's
Um,
not bad.
I would say it 3 different ways. So, speaking very naturally, I would say a little water bottle. Speaking a little bit more clearly, I would say a little water bottle. Speaking very clearly, I would say a little water bottle. Or no, a little water bottle.
Yeah, it gets a bit crazy, doesn't it? It's quite a weird noise coming out, isn't it? Most of my students say water. So they speak
Water.
like me and then they go water. And I'm like, okay, nice.
Can you just say water one time?
Water.
Water. Water.
War or water.
Wall. Water.
Water. Would you
How
like some water, Teacher Mike?
how do you say the name Walter?
Well, if I have to say it, I say Walter, but no one's called Walter. So you just drop the ER at the end.
No one is called Walter? Is that like in the UK or in
I
China?
can confirm that. Not many people. It's fairly common in the US, isn't it? It's just not really Walter White, from Breaking Bad. That's the only Walter I can think of.
So, when I was younger,
Mm.
I had very short hair, like I had a buzz cut, like shaved head, and people always told me that I looked like the guy from Breaking Bad, and
Oh, he's cool. I love him.
I didn't know that there was a young guy.
Oh no, you
So
thought
I thought that they thought I looked like Walter
like an old.
White, who, like, is an old guy with cancer and is bald.
I'm not sure that's a great.
Or no, he doesn't have cancer, his wife has cancer. I haven't
The
watched
cancer bit doesn't. No, no, no. He has cancer.
I haven't watched it, so I'm not sure, but
Have you not? It's amazing. Yeah, so you look like Jesse White. No, White can't
Jesse,
be the that
Jesse,
can't it can't be White, can it? But
it's not.
Jesse was his name, wasn't it? Or is that his real name?
Yeah, that is his name. Is Jesse. It's anyways. There was an old guy in the show and a young guy in the show. I didn't know that there was a young guy, so I always thought that people were telling me that I looked like this guy who was like 60 years old, and this is when I was like 20 years old. So I was like, why do people keep telling me I look like him?
So
And
you were quite relieved when you found out, I imagine.
do you know who Jack Grealish is?
I know the name. Oh, is he a footballer?
Yeah, people keep telling me I look like him now.
Do you know what? I think you're not as young as you used to be, and I think you're doing pretty well if people are saying things like that.
Thank you. No, yeah. But yeah, definitely Jesse Pinkman. Jesse Pinkman.
Oh, that was it. Yeah.
Anyways, let's go back to the pronunciation. So naturally I would say a little water bottle. But speaking clearly, I would say a little water bottle.
And I would say a little water bottle.
And if I'm speaking to people who I know do not understand English well, I might say it more like that. I might pronounce the T's more clearly, or more of a clear T sound. A little water bottle. But I would never say it like that in conversation. In conversation with another native English speaker or someone who speaks English really well, I would say a little water bottle. Okay.
I've actually got one from someone. I don't have as many million, thousand, million, billion followers as you,
Yeah, go ahead.
but they wanted entrepreneurship and entrepreneur.
If I can spell that.
It's quite long. I know I've got it. I could copy and paste it,
I
but I
think I did it
can't.
correctly.
Let's have a look. Lovely.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Entrepreneurship.
Mm.
We say it pretty much the same, but
Your
pronounce
PR is just a bit different, isn't it?
oh, there's 3 R's in there, aren't there? Entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so you're newer, whereas I'm ner. So it's either English or French because it's a French word, and we have lots of French words in British English, maybe not so many in American English. So entrepreneurship and then entrepreneur without the ship. Yeah, good word though, long word. And there's another word one of my students spent about half an hour saying, and
Hold
then
on.
the next.
Stay
Sorry.
on
Oh,
this one for
sorry.
a second, because some people might not know what this is. An entrepreneur is basically a business person, someone who takes risks to try to make money.
Often like a startup, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah.
But go on. What was your other one?
That's what I think we were actually talking about entrepreneurs. So she didn't know it. She was Italian, and I said yes, they're usually very innovative, and she was like, I've been saying that word wrong my whole life. I'm like, well, you should. I don't know how often you say that word, but innovative. So the stress is on the I, and because she's Italian, it would be like innovative or innovative or something like that. And so innovative. Yeah. So she found that really challenging.
That is not how I say it. I say innovative.
Yeah, innovative. But still the I is quite important.
Yeah, so
If you go innovative,
so you stress the in, but you don't stress the they. Whereas
yeah.
for me, the it is still important, but the they is very stressed. Innovative.
Yeah. In fact, yours is quite evenly spaced kind of
Yeah.
rhythm, really. Yeah, yeah.
Innovative.
Mm.
Innovative.
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 I know. And then she got it right, and then the next week she got it wrong, but wouldn't stop saying it. And I was like, let's move on now.
Let's go back to the comments for a minute and just see, because people
Yeah.
on Facebook are joining. Oh no, now there's a lot of comments. American English with Brent asked, "Is this live?" Yes, it is live right now. We began. I'm using StreamYard, so it began on time on YouTube, but it only appeared on Facebook right now. But it is live. Facebook just missed the beginning.
I can see a few comments. Dihizu, I know it's probably not how you say your name. Set the belt, I would say. Set the belt. In American, set the belt. If you come from Texas.
I'm looking.
In the UK, it seems like the words are without the end part when English people pronounce. Yes, that's a massive thing. It's a massive feature of British English where it's almost like called a dead consonant. So we do end the word, a word like pound. The D is there, but it's not released. Pounder.
Pound.
So some people say pound. I'm like, no, because that's a different word. You have to make the shape with your mouth, but actually sometimes we close the mouth, but the sound is still there. So it's a very difficult language. I empathize.
And that's I think that's because the D sound is voiced. So the D sound actually begins before you open your mouth. I don't know if that's just something I do when I'm teaching or if we actually do that, but for, especially for Arabic speakers who sometimes have difficulty with the B sound and the P sound,
Mm.
the P sound is just air, but the B sound starts inside, and then you let it out. Um, so the D is kind of similar. It's
But when
pound,
it's pound, it almost comes through your nose because the end's quite nasal. I know
pound,
it sounds a bit strange, but when it's a cluster, pound. No, the voice is there. You're right. Pound. Mm. Pound round. Brown.
ground, sound.
Should we just keep doing that? Eva, if that's how you say your name.
Yeah, she's Polish, so Eva. Um,
Pharmacy, highway, gasoline, sidewalk, fries, autumn.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say highway, sidewalk, or gasoline or fries because they're American dialect. I don't know if dialect's the right term for words that I don't have in British English because
I'd say
dialects a
dialect,
bit
that's enough.
it's a bit smaller, but it's good enough, isn't it?
I can't see that comment from
It's quite high up. So if I say it, then you say it. So pharmacy.
can you see at what time she sent that comment?
4:26 p.m.
Oh my god, mine all says 11:28 PM.
Oh,
Well,
sorry,
let's
11:26 a.m. Yeah, we're not in the same time zone. Sorry,
um,
11:26. Sorry. Yeah, we're not. We're in the same planet.
okay.
That's yeah.
Pharmacy. So pharmacy, do you say pharmacy?
I do because I travel around the world. There's another word in English which is chemist, but that is a bit more old-fashioned. So pharmacy is widely accepted now.
Yeah, in the US, we either say pharmacy or drugstore.
Right.
Highway, do you say highway?
Motorway.
Okay.
But everyone knows it, and there's so many songs, Highway to Hell, and the word highway and lots of things. So I do use quite a lot of more generic words, which I feel are American, which is kind of the lazy reputation feeling or something. If you know what I mean, I can't really describe what I mean by that actually. But I have taken on quite a lot of American terms because they're universally known, whereas the motorway, like we call a dual carriageway, which is like when there's two lanes, but it's not quite
It's like,
a
do you have
highway.
horse-drawn carriage? That's what it sounds like to
Horse-drawn
me.
carriage. Yeah, so it's a
Horse-drawn carriage.
dual two carriageways, a dual carriageway.
So
Yeah,
you say dual, jewel.
dual. Yeah,
Interesting.
mm, yeah.
Um, there was something I wanted to add.
Pharmacy highway.
Oh, just in general, I've noticed a lot of English learners. So, English teachers will never tell you American English is better, British English is better. The only people who say that are one, English learners who don't know what they're talking about, and two, stupid native English speakers who have never left their own country and met people from other countries. Um, I've never met an English teacher from the UK, Canada, or any country who has ever said anything like American people are lazy or American English is stupid. And I've never met American teachers who have said that about British English. The only people who have these very strong feelings about this one's better,
Mm.
are people who don't really know what they're talking about. And I'm not saying that English learners don't know what they're talking about,
Mm.
but at the same time, I am. You can't have a full opinion about a whole language and how it's used around the whole world when you yourself do not yet have a very good understanding of that language. The reason I'm mentioning this is because you just talked about how, like, words like chemist, that's a traditional word that you would use in the UK, but when you live abroad, you don't use it so much. So, yes, there are words that are not traditionally British and they're more American, but in many situations, those will be the words that you want to use because those are the words that more people know. And your goal when using a language, or especially English, usually your goal shouldn't be, I want to sound exactly like a British person who lived 200 years ago. That's crazy. Your goal should be, I want to say things that other human beings in the 21st century can understand. Um, and that's also why I sometimes mix British English and American English. I do the same thing. Sometimes there are British words that I like because we don't
Mm.
have those concepts in American English. Anyways, let's go back to these words. Anything else you want to say about these?
Oh,
Gasoline.
highway, motorway, gasoline, we call it petrol. It's actually not a gas station, it's a petrol station. If you asked where the gas station was, anyone who's watched Netflix would know, but an older person might not quite know why you want some gas, because that would be to like fuel your hot water or something. So yeah, so it can be quite confusing. It's good to know both, really. If you love language, it's great to know both, you know. Sidewalk we call a pavement.
I'll go back to what you just said, learn both.
Mm.
So, yes, people always ask, should I learn British English or American English? First thing, those aren't the only forms of English.
Mm.
Second, within those, there are many different forms. And the main point I want to give here is that you don't need to choose one. You should learn as much as possible. Yes, when speaking, it's probably better to use one most of the time, but if you want to understand other people in the world, you need to learn all of them. You need to listen to everything. You don't need to understand every word in every dialect, but you should listen to British people sometimes. You should listen to Australian people sometimes. You should listen to Indian people sometimes. Um, it's
South
always
African, Australian, Canadian, maybe.
yeah, pretty similar to American, eh? Pretty similar.
Don't know about that.
But,
Sorry, my funny joke. Yeah, where are we going?
yeah, it's already been 45
Yeah,
minutes.
I know, amazing.
We don't have to do too much longer.
No, I think that was really nice. I really enjoyed that. I enjoy teaching with someone else because you're usually on your own. Yeah, it's quite different.
Can we do a few more? Do you have 5-10 minutes?
Oh, I have. Yeah, yeah. I've got up to an hour, I reckon, before I combust.
Combust, explode.
Yes.
Combust basically means explode. Zoe has a nice sense of humor. Um, some of the jokes, just like me, a lot of the jokes that I make, I feel like English learners always say, you never make jokes, you never say anything funny. And it's like, I think I do, but it's just the things that I say are not like, ha ha ha, that's so funny.
Yes,
You have to think about them a little bit.
they're quite implied. Yes, so they're kind of suggested. And also, there's an idiom in English which is for something to go over your head,
I
and
thought
it
that's what you
means
were doing. Okay.
yeah, it means you don't get it. So sorry, that went over my head. It
Yeah,
didn't go into my brain. It kind of missed me.
good
Yeah.
explanation. Yeah, so over your head means it didn't enter your brain. Instead, it went over you and you didn't understand it. So some of our jokes might go over your head, partially because of language, also partially because of culture. Jokes
And
do not
also
always
partially because they're
translate.
not funny.
Yeah, and partially because they're not that funny. Um, Brandon LG from YouTube asked,
Mm.
how do Brits pronounce words like leader and leader? Do they sound the same? Thank you. So first, for me, I'm American. Leader, 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 leader. Yeah, they sound pretty much the same.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying now because I can't see it. I'm
Oh,
like,
you
they
can't see
sound
it.
the same. Is it LITRE or ER? Different spelling.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
LITER in American English is spelled LITRE in American English, in British.
same as, yeah, and center is the same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how would you pronounce it?
Liter, a liter of water, and I'm the leader. So we don't soften the T. I don't know what sound you call that in American English. We
Uh,
don't say like a liter of water.
so
I don't
that's
know.
called a
Mm,
flap or a tap. It's where you're
tap.
it's so
Mm.
Spanish speakers often get confused and think that this is an R sound. It's not an R sound in
Uh,
English because in English the R sound is R, but this is just your tongue going up and down.
a liter of water. Yeah. Whereas, so we are slightly less lazy, if you don't mind me saying that, Teacher Mike, on the liter of water.
So can you say the leader brought a liter of water?
The leader brought a liter of water.
Okay, whereas I would say the leader brought a liter of water.
Yeah, that's very different, isn't it?
Let's go back for 1 second. So the flap or the tap, I have multiple videos about this explaining it in more detail, but when we have a T between two vowels or a D between two vowels in American English, we don't usually make a clear T, liter, or a clear D, leader. It's just your tongue goes up and down, and it's called a flap or a tap. Leader, leader, ladder, letter, little, water, bottle. And so Spanish speakers often say it sounds like an R. And non Spanish speakers often say that it sounds like a D, but it's not a D and it's not an R. However, we do make this sound when we see a D sometimes, like middle, middle, middle. Um, that's not really a D sound because a D sound would be more like middle, middle.
Yeah, so basically your tongue hits the roof of your mouth. You don't really use your teeth as much. I know
Yeah.
it sounds a bit weird, but I think it's something like that. It's where the sound is in your mouth, in a way.
Let's do one more. One more, two more. Hello from Ukraine. Hello, hello. Um, responsible.
Responsible.
Yeah, we pronounce them the same. It just sounds a little bit different because of our accents, but overall the same.
See if I've got anything else.
Hello, Algeria. Hello, Afghanistan, Malaysia. Evelyn says, "You're funny, Mike." Thank you, Evelyn.
Am I funny? I need praise.
Of course you are.
Hi, Nana. Sawadee. Ah, yay. Love you too, teachers. Lovely. Mexico. Walter from Mexico.
Walter. There are
Amazing.
Walters.
There are Walters around. Mergui. I don't know where that is. Sorry, I know I've said it wrong probably. Wow, amazing. What an amazing group of people. Wow, traveling around the world without even moving.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
always
archipelago. Wow, cool.
see
Wow.
Myanmar, Libya, Poland.
Guatemala, Syria, Bhutan, Libya, Poland. Wow, it's truly amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Ah, Cyprus. Wonderful.
Those are all of the words that we had on the list. I do have one more.
Okay.
Um,
Are you going to break the internet again?
yeah.
Me too.
Fall and autumn.
Mm.
So, what is your understanding about the difference between these? Or do you want me to go first? Up to you.
Oh, we don't use fall.
Okay. So, you only use autumn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what I find interesting is that this is one of those things where many English learners say, I want to use British English because British English is the true, pure, traditional, best version of English.
It's the original language.
And well, if you want to use the original language, you would say fall, because fall was the original word used in the UK. And then, well, I guess that was before, I don't know if the UK was the UK at that point.
No, it wouldn't have been. It would have been some weird, massive rock, probably.
But basically, in the beginning, the word was fall. Then, when Europeans came to North America, they started saying autumn, I think. But then people, why is there a thumbs down on my screen? But then, but then people stopped using the word fall as much in the UK, whereas we continued using it in the United States. So the
I've
United
never heard that before. I would never even bother looking that up.
So Americans actually, in many cases, we have preserved the traditional forms of the words that people in the UK have stopped using. Another example, gotten. Gotten was used very long time ago.
Yeah.
Before America existed, before America was a country, people said gotten. But Americans continued using the traditional language, whereas British people stopped using it.
It sounds way too simplistic to me, I'm afraid. Let's disagree. No, I mean, English, British English is made up of loads, and all English is made up of loads of different languages. So I would say they're very different. So we have lots of Dutch, Swedish, we would have French, German. English is a Germanic language. Because we were invaded by loads of different people, and language changes and changes, and also pronunciation changes. And even, sorry, going a bit off topic, but there are words that are, or the GH words and things like that, and they're all pronounced differently because depending on where they came from. And I even, there's a great article about someone who was in the 1600s or something, printed books, and he actually didn't know how to write, so he just had to make up all the spellings.
Mm-hmm.
And so he actually changed, because it was the first written record, he changed loads of words, but he was sort of almost like a severe dyslexic or something, and he actually changed history and the history of and the evolution of English. But I don't know, I've just never heard that about fall and autumn. I just know that we never use it. Fall just means fall.
My point with that is just that there's lots of English learners who and even ignorant native English speakers who say things like, "Oh,
We were here first," kind of
British
feeling.
English is the traditional English, and we speak it the way that it's always been."
Oh, I see. So yeah,
And
right, I've
like,
got it.
no, you don't. You speak English nothing like the way people spoke English 200 years ago.
Yeah, so if you're talking about history, yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's why it's such an amazing language as well, isn't it? I mean, so many other languages borrow words, they have loan words from English. Many new technological words are all in English because everyone went, well, we can make up our own word, or we can just use computer, the internet, Wi-Fi, although there's often an alternative. But yeah. Ignorance about the history of language. To be honest, I do need new students, not too many, but some. And so actually those people who say British is the original language, for me, it's an advantage because they want to learn it. But then once they start learning with me, they realize, yeah, it might not be that simple. I'm not the queen. I don't live in a palace, and I don't eat high tea every day or whatever it is.
And can you tell people about where you teach, if they are interested in learning?
Thank you. Yeah, so the easiest way to find me is on a site called italki, Italki. I'm sure some of you know it. You get 3 free trial lessons when you sign up anyway, Or if you've already used them, you can book a half-hour trial with me for quite a low price. I've got lots of different courses on there of different lengths. So you can find me on there. I think Teacher Mike's going to put a link.
Yeah, so I had the link, but it got kind of screwed up with Facebook. But we can post it in the comments either if you have it
Yeah.
now
So you
or
can also find me on Learn English with Zoe, as my name's written. That's my Facebook, and all of the links are there. You just need to click on one. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
can briefly say it, but yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to meet new people. I love language, I love teaching, and I love culture, and I also love learning, as I'm sure Teacher Mike does, as he's saying. You're always learning strange facts about this wonderful language and about other people's languages too.
yeah, that's one of the most interesting things about teaching is not just learning more about your own language, but also learning lots of things about other languages, even when they are not languages that you are actually learning. Can we do one more thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody remember, so Learn English with Zoe is her Facebook.
Yeah.
I
Please
don't
join. Yeah.
have the link to it because Facebook got closed, but I can write it here in the comments. Or
Thank
I'll put it on the
you.
screen.
Thank you. Thanks, Teacher Mike. I really appreciate it.
So
Yeah, that's what I do for my job. I'm not really a content creator. I'm mainly just a teacher because I love it so much and because I move around a lot. I really admire Teacher Mike for what he does, because when I do create content, it seems to take a long time and dominate my life. It's really hard work. So we've kind of gone slightly different paths, and Teacher Mike also teaches.
yeah,
Um,
I would do, more private lessons, but it's just creating the content takes a long time. So I do private lessons now, but basically I just do them to support the free content. I think what a lot of creators do is they create these really big social media pages and then they try to sell a product or sell courses.
mm,
Whereas I maybe kind of stupidly did the opposite. Um, I created a very large audience without trying to sell anything, but now I do have private courses or private lessons, just because creating free content doesn't make a lot of money. So I
no.
need to do something to support it also, but I don't have that much time to do the private lessons. But
Whereas I do. We're not in competition with each other, luckily. But yeah.
but yeah, I think that's probably about everything. Let's just check the comments.
Someone wanted us to say Morocco. I'm going to Morocco on Sunday, by the way.
Oh, have fun in
Probably won't.
Morocco.
Yeah, only for three days. But I thought I'd better have a quick look, because you can fly in 2 hours from where I am. So
Morocco. Okay, so we pronounce it the same.
uh,
What about this? How is shoot pronounced in British and American English?
yeah, shoot.
It's also not a very common word.
No,
I don't think I've ever used it.
no. Trash, garbage, rubbish. That's something I always think. People don't seem to know the word rubbish means kaya. Yeah, sorry. It's trash and garbage, isn't it?
Yes, so this is another one where I kind of had to go into the history and I made a whole video about this. Was traditionally the word trash was like pieces of wood and pieces of paper.
Mm.
Whereas garbage was like food, like meat, berries, vegetables, sauce, and stuff like that.
Ah,
Whereas nowadays in American English, we use garbage and trash interchangeably. We
yeah,
use them to mean the same thing. It doesn't matter which one you say. Whereas in the UK, I think they usually say rubbish, right?
always. Yeah, but it sounds, because you can say, oh, that's rubbish, which is a kind of fairly polite way of saying it's terrible or it's not true. But yeah, can you take the rubbish out? But in my lessons, for example, if someone was B1 or something, I would probably just say trash. But for me, it's a very unfamiliar word, really. Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
sounds very American.
yeah.
Trash.
Although trashy and corny, like I like the adjective forms of words like that.
How would you describe the meaning of the word trashy? I don't mean to put you
In
on
my
the
lessons, I'd probably swear because I've got quite a foul mouth at times. Trashy is kind of not classy,
Okay, so trashy is the opposite of classy. So it's
kind of.
kind of trashy is kind of like low class, not very polite, not very sensitive.
Yeah, like well, a trashy movie or in English film. That's another one that, yeah, kind of you do get quite annoyed sometimes as a British person because you know that you're going to have to say movie, not film, because people think you've said hi, Phil. Trashy movie, one that doesn't have particularly intelligent content, one that isn't very well thought out. Yeah, I
Okay,
suppose.
so it's not great quality, not very
Yes.
Okay, and last thing, because it's related. In the UK, they say litter often, but you don't use litter to mean trash, right?
That's such a weird. I feel like I'm in a lesson where I go, "What's the question again?"
Do
um,
you use the word litter often?
litter, sorry, because it's litter as well. I was like, "What are you saying?"
Litter of kittens.
Oh, I
No,
see.
no, but
Right.
that's not what they're saying. That's just a joke.
No, right. No, but I needed a bit of help. Yeah. So there's a litter of kittens, but that is kind of because there's lots of them. So to litter in the street is to drop trash or rubbish, like a crisp or a chip packet on the sidewalk or the pavement. um, yeah. So to litter, but not really. I think it's a word from the 1980s. I think there was maybe a public health campaign. Please take your litter with you when you leave the park. But actually, please throw rubbish in the bin.
Yeah, okay.
Is
So then you
and garbage can as well, isn't there? Mm.
so then to this person, I would say that they don't use it that way. They use the word litter, but they don't use it to mean
Oh, I
garbage
didn't even know it was a question.
or
Sorry, I can't read your name, Russian. Zvolongimak Korachi Pekok, or is that Ukraine?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm
Russian
knowledge
speaking. Sorry.
Um,
Um,
but the point is that they use the word litter, and we use the word litter in the United States, but it doesn't just mean trash or rubbish. It means trash or rubbish that you leave in a public place, on the ground, in the field, on the road, like that. Yeah.
don't litter the streets.
And so it can be a verb also, litter, don't litter.
Mm,
It can also be a noun, which
mm.
means trash that is on the ground. I'm
I
going
must say, I say it so rarely. When you said it, I didn't know what you were saying.
Really? Okay, I use it often. I mean, not like every day. It's not something I need to talk about,
Run around shouting at people
but
not to
it's
litter.
definitely a common word.
Mm.
All right, I think that's probably enough. We've both
Oh,
got
tortoise!
tortoise.
Ugyenrinsin.
Okay,
They're
fine.
my favorite animal, so I just suddenly saw it.
Um,
Tortoise,
I don't
and
see it, but I can add it.
yeah, it's 11:52 a.m.
Oh, okay, that's thank you.
Tortoise, and you say something weird, don't you, Teacher Mike?
I say tortoise.
Okay, but people always go tortoise, and they go, "Why is it? It's such a hard word." It's like if you just think of it as two sounds. I don't know what your native language is, but tortoise,
I don't see it, but I'm going to add
tortoise.
it.
Yeah,
So what is a tortoise? Is a tortoise just like a it's similar to a turtle, but it's like turtles live mostly in water, whereas tortoises live mostly on land?
that's a very nice explanation. I'm glad you kind of got it right because I can get quite angry about the tortoise.
So that was correct?
Well, tortoises can't swim. Actually,
Okay.
I am a fanatic. Um, there's a bit of confusion, I think, because in countries like Thailand, there's only one word. So I used to spend a long time trying to talk about my tortoises, and they're like, "Teacher, we don't know what you're talking about." And then one person said there is tortoise on land. So, and there's also like terrapins and things like that in English.
Yeah.
But I think even in Mexico, you just call them all turtles. So tortoise seems to be a very strange word to some people. And there's also an animal called a porpoise,
Porpoise.
which you could
That's
say
not,
porpoise. Yeah.
but not similar to turtles.
No, no. But yeah, tortoise.
Terrapin is the mascot of the University of Maryland, the Maryland
Mm.
Terrapins. I don't even know what a terrapin is. It's like a turtle.
It's an evil turtle with claws.
Okay,
And they were quite bright and stripy and a bit, I think they bite.
so it's like a dangerous turtle.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be a very good biology teacher, but anyway.
All right, but let's stop here for today. It's been really fun chatting with you, and I hope everyone has enjoyed it. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end?
I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It felt like I was in a lesson and I was giving a lesson and I was having a chat with a good friend, and lots of other nice, supportive people. So I thoroughly enjoyed the experience.
That is exactly how I felt as well. And so, first of all, thank you very much for joining, but also thank you, everyone, for your wonderful comments, wonderful questions. Sometimes the comments get a little bit crazy, and I think today everyone did a really good job of being respectful and asking just really good questions. So, this was a lot of fun. And I will see all of you next week as well, because I do my live videos every Tuesday. But yeah, that's it. Zoe, it's been wonderful talking to you. We can probably chat a little bit after this, but yeah, thank you for joining me today.
No, thank you. I'd sign out, but I actually don't know how. I
It's
think
all right.
you have
I will
to
just I will end the stream and we will just wave goodbye to everyone.
Bye,
Goodbye.
everyone. Thank you. Have a great day. Wherever